Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Steve Kiyama, and I'm the owner of the Action Coach franchise in Fairfax, Virginia, and I'm your host today of the Business Spotlight podcast. Today, I have the pleasure to introduce Kathleen O'Brien Thompson, the founder and CEO of Professional Punch Marketing, as my guest. And today, we're going to talk about Kathleen's business. We're going to talk about her journey into business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek into what it's really like to build and own and operate a business. If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications when a new show like this one drops. So Kathleen, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for being here today. And if you would, please give us a little bit of background about who you are and a little bit about your business.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate the invite. Sure. Uh, I have a digital marketing agency called Professional Punch that we serve small to medium-sized businesses, and mostly we've evolved to professional service firms, but we still have a few legacy clients that are e-commerce and are always happy to help if we think that we can get the results that they need and want. Started about 18 years ago. Originally started with a background in first as an educator, then market research, special event marketing, and then found my way into digital marketing. Along the way, wrote for several magazines, and really was involved in some key fun brand opportunities with some bigger brands. So with a little bit of a sidestep to a technology in my background. So that I think married very well with digital marketing.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That makes sense. You've got a bit of a team, but let's talk a little bit about the structure of the business in a sense. We get a lot of people who ask questions about partnerships and investors and boards of advisors and this kind of stuff. How are you structured at this stage?
Yeah, so I'm a classic kind of bootstrap situation. So
Hmm.
I saw a gap or a need in the market, and where it really started was people kept asking me for help. I was a writer and helping with doing some brand writing, and then the next evolution, because they were so happy with what I was doing, is, well, can you help with a website? Can you help with a logo? Can you help with,
Hmm.
and so it evolved really from there. So I didn't secure any funding. It was really all clients came to me, a lot of it by referral or work that I had already been
Yeah.
doing, and it was expanding.
Hmm.
And so I started out as a sole proprietorship and then moved eventually to um, an S Corp and LLC.
Perfect. Good. That makes perfect sense to me. Like I said, you have a bit of a team, so things are evolving in that structure.
Yes.
Um, when I think of a business that's growing, it's got a bunch of activities going on and a bunch of hats that have to be worn in the business. So a one person business might have a couple of dozen different hats. As time progresses, maybe that gets a little bit smaller. How many hats are you wearing at this
Yeah.
particular point?
Yeah, Steve, many, many, many hats.
Hmm.
Um, as a small business owner, and most small business owners, if you're watching this, you can identify. In fact, everyone I've talked to in this space, you are always, even if as your team grows, you are always wearing multiple hats, right?
Hmm.
Because you are the face of the business. So you are your best brand advocate,
Hmm.
usually the top salesperson, because people want to have conversations with you. And even if you're taking those referrals or leads or what have you and passing them on to another team member that's working for you, you're still kind of the originating source often.
Hmm.
So you have that sales kind of leadership
Hmm.
from the business standpoint hat, and then of course operationally you're in charge of the vision and
Hmm.
what's happening with the business, where are we going. You're also kind of the HR piece, attracting good talent, making sure you're creating a corporate culture, or in this case, I wouldn't say so much corporate, but a company culture that is um, one that's getting the talent that will help you to build that business and grow that
Hmm.
business.
Mm-hmm.
So it's multiple hats at any given time. And then my belief system has always been to lead from the front. And
Mm-hmm.
so I always have a hand in the business.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say micromanaging, because there is a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it's empowering your team, constantly creating opportunities for them to learn and to grow,
Mm-hmm.
but you're also still involved in the work enough that you have a great understanding. And I think the team respects and likes that. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Good. Good. You talked a little bit about who your typical customers are. Let's go a little bit deeper with that. Who your ideal customer at this point, and what makes you unique for them? Why would they come? If I was one of them, why would I come to you?
so the ideal customer, as I said earlier, is that it's been an evolution. And I think what we've narrowed down to is that we are really adept at doing professional service firms, service businesses lend themselves very well for digital marketing.
Hmm.
And so I would say small to medium size companies. We have
Hmm.
private wealth management client, financial
Hmm.
services. But we're not exclusive to that. We haven't niched down so much that we only work with dental practices and we do
Yeah.
all dental practices. That's not where our space. Really, we kind of look at it and approach it as we know this is our sweet spot, but even if you fall outside of that and we think we can really help you and do a good job, if it's a good fit, we'll do it. And
Hmm.
so I think that leads into our unique um, approach is different than a lot of other marketing firms in that what, in fact, so interesting. Yesterday, I was talking with somebody that, of course, asked me what do I do, and found out that I own a business and a marketing business. And
Hmm.
a lot of times the reaction is, oh, that's interesting, or oh, because they've had negative experiences with marketing
Yes.
firms.
Right.
And unfortunately, there are some people in marketing that have not done the best to represent us. And our
Yeah.
approach is really different in that we are the outsource marketing department for our clients. We come
Hmm.
alongside them. We help starting right with strategy.
Hmm.
We run that strategy, goals, needs identification.
Yep.
We create a marketing blueprint. It's a
Yep.
set plan. With that set plan, we have key milestones that we review. We include tracking and analytics, not as an add-on, but how can we do our job effectively if we're not tracking it? And
Yeah.
so we really do a very comprehensive integrated marketing approach, which also means that we can only take on so many clients because we really are doing a comprehensive approach. So we're not
Hmm.
kind of like the Henry Ford model where it's you're, turning a knob and then we can 10x it and get as many clients as possible and just kind
Hmm.
of create a factory of marketing.
Hmm.
I'd say it's more, which this is an overused term, but bespoke is really very
Mm.
true for us.
Good. 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 Okay. Let's switch gears a little bit.
Sure.
What got you across the bridge to decide to go into business?
Um, yeah, that's an interesting question. I think it comes from a service leadership, service heart.
Hmm.
I really want to help people
Hmm.
and I want to do a really great job. I want to work
Hmm.
with really great people. And
Hmm.
that is both on the client side and on the partner and
Hmm.
team side.
Hmm.
So the best way to do that was to have my own business.
Hmm.
So it wasn't, like I said, I kind of backed into this. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to start a business.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Really much more people who needed help. I
Hmm.
wanted to help. I knew I could. I had made such great contacts and had so
Hmm.
many great partners that I knew I could build a team that could really help the first client. And then they loved it so much that they told two friends and they told two friends. And that's kind of how
Hmm.
it grew organically.
Hmm. What would have been the trigger that said, today's the day?
I don't think there was one.
They
I
just
think
said,
it was the big trigger was the person asking, I need
okay.
help.
Okay.
And my approach of if somebody needs help, you find a way.
Okay, good, good, good. What would you say has been the most memorable hurdle that you've crossed as you've gone through this journey?
Um, there are so many hurdles that there's not one that sticks out. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
there's
That actually is that's a point.
there's everything from it's it's constant learning.
Mhm,
That's the key in this type of
mhm.
business, especially if you're not, legacy taking over from somebody else. If you're building
Yeah.
a business from scratch,
Hmm.
or if you are not taking over from family business or something like that, you really are learning and growing accelerated rate, uh, figuring it out as you go, finding good resources, finding coaches that can help
Hmm.
you along the way,
Hmm.
doing the research,
Hmm.
and especially in my industry, you're constantly learning and growing.
Oh,
So,
the technology and the tools are changing so rapidly today.
yeah. Interesting to that, Steve, is the technology is ever changing. And
Mhm.
you're right, the speed of change right now is gives you whiplash. There's so many things,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the tactics haven't changed. And
Yeah.
what's interesting for marketing is the thing that worked 75 years ago still works today. It's just a different medium.
Can
So
you give
it's,
an example?
in fact, I came across an article from like the 1800s for
Hmm.
talking about, how do we do marketing? And it was talking about that you need to be in front of somebody, and I was shocked by this, 20 times before they really start to think about your product and or service and take action. We in marketing in modern times talk about 7 to 10 is what you'll often hear, or 7 to 12.
Hmm.
Everybody has a different number, but it's within
Yeah.
that range. And something going as far back as the 1800s saying 20 times. And the idea that it's about telling a good story. It's about,
Mm.
your people do business with people they
Hmm.
know, like, and trust at businesses, but it's people at businesses. They don't do business with businesses. They do
Right.
business with people at businesses. Now that is shifting now a little bit more with more online opportunities and, just going direct through direct ordering and things of that nature.
Hmm.
But particularly in the service industry, which is where I focus more, they're still doing business with people. So it's about, you're asking personal stories. That's what still engages people. And so whether I tell that personal story back in the 1800s in a newspaper article or in an advertisement in a newspaper, now today that might be on a website or a blog and through a digital ad on Google, Facebook, or
Yeah.
LinkedIn. It's still a story about what makes that service or product unique, different, valuable. So it's the same, just different medium.
Different medium. Yeah. I know. I love that. That's a perfect example. I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Extrapolating now, let's look into the future. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, where do you see the business going?
um, we've talked a lot about this with the team, and
Hmm.
because we have recently been pivoting some of our services in the business, I think I still think it will be, as it has always been, about the the people and the story. So I
Hmm.
do think that will remain the same.
Hmm.
I don't know 100% where it's going to go. AI
Hmm.
obviously being what everybody's talking about,
Hmm.
changing some things. But I still think that at the core will remain the same. So for my business, I think it's the human touch that will
Hmm.
be even more important as
Hmm.
people are leveraging and leaning into technology more. There is the potential for some more free time, but there's also more of a craving for that personal connection. So
Uh-huh.
in my business, it's creating those experiences.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there, some of the data that I'm reading is people getting back to in-person events because they're seeking that connection. For brands, creating memorable experiences
Hmm.
is one of the things. Now, whether that's online or through an amazing campaign that is emailed to you that's personalized,
Hmm.
whether that is kind of a live event, whatever the case may be, I think it's going to be more about the human aspect, even more so as we evolve.
People and people interacting with people.
Yeah, I mean, because ultimately there's still somebody, a consumer, that
Hmm.
is going to be making that choice.
Yes.
So we have better access to knowledge, rapid ability to synthesize data now through technology. What I think is the next phase, like we are leaving the knowledge age and moving more into the judgment age.
Ooh, that's an interesting thought.
Right, where we still need people to decide what technology should be used, should be
Hmm.
leveraged, and are we using it, appropriately, ethically, et cetera.
Hmm. Hmm.
Appropriately not necessarily being the same as ethically, appropriately being, is it the right fit for your business? There are
Yeah.
tools out there that might be great for one business and not good for another.
Good insight. Yeah. Good.
So you still need somebody to make that judgment. And then ultimately the end of the funnel for my industry, we call the bottom of the funnel, where you're actually have the person taking the action that you want them to take, which is buy a product or a service,
Hmm.
then that's still the judgment they're making. I'm choosing X over Y,
Hmm.
so it's still about judgment. So I think strategists, people who have that understanding, which is a big part of what we do, is providing strategy as well as the execution. I feel that will be even in more demand.
You've said some things here that just make me need to ask this question this way. Know, like, and trust. Can you, in serious thought, conceive a bot knowing, liking, and trusting a bot so that an acquisition or a purchase happens?
Huh. I can say that I don't rule anything out. I mean, I always
Yeah,
everything is a possibility.
yeah,
I've learned that the hard way.
yeah, yeah.
So I think that I think it'll be dependent on the person.
Mm,
So you're gonna, like your early adopters, there are already people that are interacting on a regular basis with bots, feel
hmm.
comfortable with it and are okay with it,
Hmm.
and see it as a time saving and as an amazing innovation, and technology is wonderful and are running towards it.
Hmm.
And so they are knowing, liking, and trusting it. I mean, that's how we got to where we are, right? But then there are definitely the naysayers and people who are fearful of it
Hmm.
because any tool can be used for good or ill. So
Hmm.
they're more cautious
Hmm.
and they're not going to know, like, and trust it. They
Yeah,
may kind of interact with it, but there will be a dividing line.
yeah,
Okay, maybe I'm okay with AI being assistant, but I don't want it to be my primary source, you know
yeah.
um and so we'll start to see some of those dividing lines. I just was reading in a magazine the other day talking about innovation, that here's a good use for
Hmm.
AI. There was a surgeon who was doing a spinal surgery and
Mm,
was using AI assisted glasses in order to very precisely make sure that they were inserting at the exact perfect mathematical angle the device that they were putting into the spine.
hmm.
That's a good use.
That
The
is a good
article
use.
then went on to say that they're developing a robot that would be doing the suction and some of the basic assisting of the surgeon.
Hmm.
And so I think most people would say when it came to the glasses and that it's still assisting the human,
Right.
it's going to make it even better, or I have even better possible outcomes because
Hmm.
of how precise it is. I think most people would vote yes. But
Yes.
I think when you start to talk about a robot being the one doing the suction, that's where I could see people saying, I don't know if I want a robot having my life in their hands. I still would
Right.
rather be a human with empathy,
Yeah.
with, you know what I mean? Even
Yes.
if they were with the surgeon, and if the surgeon was still human, I could see that being a dividing line.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. And this is true. If I'm betting my business on a bot, exactly how is that going to work?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot of interesting.
yeah,
The next 20 years are going to be really interesting times.
yeah. Now, for us, Steve, we have been developed and deployed an AI tool, which is
Hmm.
a lead capture voice assistant. And this
Hmm.
lead capture voice assistant is meant to be an assistant to, service firms that don't have a back office, that don't have somebody that can help. One good example is a realtor who is always in the car on the go, showing homes,
Hmm.
etc. They may be working with or driving and can't answer the phone. So this,
Uh-huh.
when the phone rings, it goes immediately to this voice lead, assistant that answers it, gives all the basic information, can book a follow-up call, can transfer the call to somebody else if there was a second partner. Or so instead of somebody just getting a voicemail and then waiting for a call back, some of their information, very similar to a chatbot, some of their information would be conveyed. But it's more dynamic than just an answer machine. It actually gives that back and forth information. And so we're seeing some really, it's been something that can really help in that
Hmm.
instance.
Hmm.
Not meant to replace, but meant to be for somebody that couldn't even have this as an option,
Augment. Yeah.
augment. Exactly.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Um, Continuing down this line, you've learned a lot in this process of building a business. If you started your business over again, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently?
um, so that's an interesting question in the sense that part of me wants to say I wouldn't probably do anything different because through the
Mhm.
things that I've done, it's brought me to where I am now.
It's
And
you've learned.
you've learned as you go. So those
Hmm.
things that sometimes are, maybe painful lessons,
Yeah.
they also shape you. So,
Yes.
um, what would I do differently? I mean, hindsight's a dangerous thing
Oh,
sometimes.
yeah. It's tempting to say there's a shortcut when there really isn't.
There really isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, yeah, I honestly can't think of anything that I would really do differently.
Yeah. That to me feels like a very authentic answer because you said it right. We have to go through these experiences to become the person we are today. And we've got more experiences we have to go through tomorrow so we can become the person we're going to become, need to become tomorrow. So
Yeah,
I like that answer. That's really, really good. Cool. So
thanks.
before we wrap up, let's have some fun with a few rapid fire questions.
Sure.
Ready to play?
I'm ready to play.
What's a key to success for you?
Hmm. I think the key to success has been, as I mentioned, like the servant leadership.
Hmm.
I don't look at it just from serving clients.
Hmm.
I look at it as serving anyone I come into contact with. And so
Hmm.
that is, I think and look at things collaboratively.
Hmm.
How you and I came into contact. Anybody I come into contact with, I always think about how can I help them? Is there
Mm-hmm.
something, whether it's, can I personally help them through
Mm-hmm.
my business, or can I help them through a connection that I have
Mm-hmm.
that is a perfect fit for what you need?
Mm-hmm.
And doing that, I would say the other real key to this is with anybody that's ever worked for me, and I actually learned this from my husband. I give him a lot of credit for this. Um, Early on, when we first met, we were talking about, business, and he said to something to me that really resonated with me. And you're always training the person that works for you for their next position.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that is, I'm sure, nothing new to most people, but he was so honest about it and so really meant it. And I thought that really aligns with my approach.
Mm-hmm.
And so really investing in my people and
Mm-hmm.
always keeping them challenged, interested, trying to give them opportunities to learn. I don't hold
Mm-hmm.
the keys to the kingdom back. I give them a lot of
Good.
agency in order to really be able to grow and learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I am really, really, what I think is important is that we have kind of a opportunity to fail. Like there's no shame and
Mm-hmm.
blame here.
Mm-hmm.
If you make a mistake, you tell immediately what the mistake is, you correct it, and you come up with a solution so that it doesn't happen again. And when you take that approach, clients don't remember the issue, they remember how you resolved it.
Yes.
And that's the key. And
Yes.
I can give you, if I can take a second on this, I
Please.
know it's
Yeah.
rapid fire, but one of my favorite things that happened in the last year is that with a team member that has been with me less time than some of the others. And I think people need time to understand that this truly is the culture. So they're
Mm-hmm.
tenuous at first. They're
Mm-hmm.
scared when they make a mistake because that's our natural human reaction.
Mm-hmm.
They had seen me do it. I'm always the first to come on a call and say, "Oh, I didn't do this right. I'm sorry."
Mm-hmm.
Very transparent about where the business is, how things are going, what needs improvement, including my own improvement, and what we're doing great, and celebrate
Mm-hmm.
those successes. So within that, kind of modeling that behavior, but then there was a mistake that happened, and she told me right away, and she asked me, would it be all right if I emailed the client? And I was like, what? Yes, of course. So she goes ahead and she emails the client. She says, I just want to let you know, because the client had emailed me and she was copied on it. And I had already said, yes, it was our mistake. We're handling it. And here's the resolution. And I kind of have that formula like, yep, admit it, we immediately took care of it. This is what we did to fix it. And this is the process we're putting in place so that it never happens again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was already solved, but she decided to reach out personally to the client and say, I just want to let you know that I was the one who made the error. And this is what I did. And this is how I've corrected it. And I just want to let you know that it won't happen again. And here's why, because here's what I did. But taking that personal ownership, well, I even just get goosebumps telling the
Yeah.
story.
I love it.
I emailed back and said, you have 100% confidence, restored our confidence in you. And in addition, I am so impressed with your approach and that you immediately took responsibility. She then emailed me personally without the staff member on and said, you've developed an amazing team here. This has never happened to us before. And it's like what you would always want somebody to do is to really step up and say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is so I think that's amazing. And that has built so much confidence with the clients and they understand we're with you, you know? So anyway,
Can I pivot to a different thought
sure.
from that? Have you thought to the point of, yes, you're training them for their next position? Is that next position a role that you're fulfilling at this time?
To take over the business.
Well, to a one of the hats you're wearing.
Oh yeah. I mean, yes to all of it. I've said
Mm-hmm.
to several people that work for me, I, I have, I don't need to be doing this by myself, nor do I necessarily want to be. And I've offered to each person that works for me, if you ever want more responsibility or want to even come in and think about taking an ownership piece, let's sit down and talk about it.
Hmm.
Like it's
Good.
open to you. They all have
Yeah.
different dreams and desires, and
Yeah, of course.
so
They're
some
human.
of them I know will go on to do great things within their
Hmm.
own. Interestingly, we had somebody that left, started their own business, and has recently come back and
Hmm.
still has the business and is able to, through efficiency, do that. Um, and then love working with us so much, has come back and is
Yeah.
working with us again, and we're thrilled.
Yeah.
So
That,
he's going out, forged their own path, and has come back to work with us too. So that's really
yeah.
cool.
I mean, that's how you attract the best,
Yeah, well, I hope
thinking like
so.
that.
I like
Yeah.
to think so.
Yeah. Yeah. What is, if you and I were having coffee at the coffee shop down the street, just sitting down and talking, and somebody walked in and was talking to their friend about starting up a business, what's one piece of advice you would share with that person?
I'd say surround yourself with really good people.
Mm,
And I would say take advantage of, there are so many tools and resources. I think one of the things I would definitely recommend, I think what has really helped me is good partners, really asking other business owners, how are you doing it?
yeah,
Why are you
good.
doing it that way? And I've hired a couple different coaches in the 18 years I've been in business,
Hmm.
that have really helped refine my understanding of business and what I needed to
Hmm.
do. For me personally, a good bookkeeper and accountant, because I know a lot of business owners that try to do all of the bookkeeping themselves, and good on them if they can do that.
Hmm.
I have a good understanding of it, but
Hmm.
I could not tackle that and all of the other things I do.
Yeah,
So I think that's an important one, and I would say that would be my
cool.
advice.
Makes sense to me. Perfect sense to me. What's a book you're reading now or have read recently that has had impact on how you
Yeah,
run the business?
there's so many, and I'm
Mm,
very lucky to work with. I have a client that we helped develop a podcast for her,
hmm.
and it started out because she reads probably a business book a week,
Ooh,
which
awesome.
I've never seen anybody do that. She does have a very long commute, so
Yeah, yeah.
that helps,
Yeah.
listening to it. And so because of that, I've been reading even more business books. I'm actually a reader for personal and for business.
Mhm.
But one of the books that I think is both for personal and business, that is one that I've read and I go back and reread, or I should
Hmm.
say listen to on um, audio, is The Obstacle's the Way by Ryan Holiday. And he
Hmm.
has a book of series, it's the Stoic series based on, you know, um, ancient, Greek and Roman and
Hmm.
wisdom. And that philosophy that held true so long ago still holds true now. What he's
Hmm.
done is updated it and given you real world examples,
Ooh,
both
good.
business and personal.
Hmm.
What I love about it is it flips the script from talking about, all of the challenges, because there are going to be numerous as a business owner, and
Hmm.
seeing that the obstacle is the way. It is part of the journey that really you have to look at that as a learning opportunity and turning those trials into triumph.
Hmm.
And that is part of the title, the longer title. And
Hmm.
it really is about that. It's like the
Hmm.
story I just told you about taking something that was this mist that everybody was feeling anxious about and
Hmm.
feeling bad about. And it turned out to be one of our greatest triumphs, because not only because inevitably there's going to be something that happens.
Yes.
Now the client knows how we're going to handle it, understands our values and ethics, and loves
Hmm.
them, and
Hmm.
has, it's given us so much goodwill with this
Hmm.
client. So I'd say that's the best book that I have had the pleasure of reading.
Awesome. Awesome. That kind of takes us back to the point about the challenges we learn to overcome are what make us the people we are today.
Yeah.
And the challenges we haven't yet overcome are the ones that will make us the person we will be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Same philosophy.
Absolutely. And I mean, positivity is really important. I think that you have to have a lot of hope and be, you know, positive. There's another book, Positive IQ, PQ. So
Mm-hmm.
you have IQ, EQ, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then this one is PQ.
Mm-hmm.
And it's talking about leaders, and good leaders are positive. You have to have hope.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be positive.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that is also another one that I really like and has helped for me in the last, year or two.
Awesome. 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 You've had a great journey. You learned a lot of things. You've done a lot of things, crossed a lot of hurdles. What would you say are you most proud of getting to this point?
Most proud of. That's where it's funny you should say that. That's where I struggle a little bit. I'm
Mm-hmm.
always looking forward. I'm always
Mm-hmm.
looking up at the next mountain, and
Yeah.
I very rarely look back. Um, so I'd say what I'm most proud about, you know, is really the amazing, and it sounds very trite, but it's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing work we've done for our clients. Like we have some clients that, have had extraordinary growth during very challenging times.
Mm-hmm.
This year has been a lot of uncertainty, volatility, and we have our clients, two of our star clients that we've been working with for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
who believed in us, kept the faith, and have allowed us to really drive their marketing and
Mm-hmm.
are invested in their marketing.
Mm-hmm.
They're both seeing extraordinary growth, one 10% growth year over year in revenue, and the
Mm-hmm.
other one has increased their revenue by a good margin in an e-commerce business
Good.
that is one that you wouldn't think would be growing in this
Yeah.
market. So
Good.
that's been very exciting. That gives a lot of job satisfaction and
Yeah.
satisfaction that you're on the right track. But I spend a lot of my time also with my team and seeing their growth. We had an extraordinary call this morning, Steve, and to see the team working together and to see I challenged them on something really kind of outside of their scope of work
Yeah.
and said, if you want to give it a try, let's give it a try. And they crushed it.
Good.
And I asked
Awesome.
them, how did
Good.
you feel about it? And they
Yeah.
said it was so exciting and they loved working together and being challenged by this project.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that I think that's probably the teacher. That was my
Mm-hmm.
original profession way back when. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that is very rewarding.
Awesome. Awesome. Fantastic. This is really good. Flipping sides to that question. If you had a magic wand and you could magically fix, change, improve one thing in your business today, what would it be?
More time. It
Ah,
just I just never feel like I have enough time.
got it. Yeah. That is, yeah. You can't go out to Google and buy a bag of time, can you?
Yeah, that's the one resource that we all technically have the same and
Yeah.
that you can't, yeah. I think that's the biggest constraint that most small business owners have. And
Mm-hmm.
when I talk to a lot of my colleagues, that's the number one thing.
That's the
Juggling,
one. Mm-hmm.
trying to have family, personal time,
Yeah.
downtime.
Yeah.
And as a business owner, and you know this, Steve, and I'm sure you've heard this before, you're working 60, 70, 80-hour weeks sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes the personal doesn't get as much attention as you'd want it to.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. Very good point. Um, Most important question. How could people who want to know more get in touch with you?
Oh, yeah. Well, say that my website, professionalpunch.com, is a great place to start. But I'm probably most active on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Thompson. I do a lot of LinkedIn mentoring for small businesses, and so
Good.
that's where you find me, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
part of it. Yeah, and from either of those places, you can find out more and get in touch with me.
Fantastic. Last question.
Sure.
What's most inspiring to you today?
Most inspiring. I think it's the thirst for knowledge
Ooh,
of
good.
my team,
Hmm.
and I think they really inspire me that way. I think I would I really think that creates a synergy
Hmm.
where there's an excitement to the work
Hmm.
and constantly seeking
Hmm.
what's next and
Hmm.
yeah, I'd say that's it.
Awesome. That's fantastic. There's no I in team.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
get there's an acronym of team that I've heard: together, everyone achieves more. And I
Mm,
think that's a really good way to keep it in context.
yeah,
It's not about me, it's about us. Um, how do we collectively make a better outcome?
yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. This is
Yeah.
fantastic. This has been a great conversation. I've had a lot of fun, and you've shared an awful lot of good insights and tidbits of insight that are really, really effective and helpful for people.
Oh, thanks.
Um, so, for the audience, for all of you watching, save the show, come back. Kathleen has given us some really good ideas. So, come back and watch it again. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you can get more conversations like this when they drop. So thank you to everyone who joined us today. And a very special thank you to you, Kathleen, for sharing your journey, being vulnerable, and giving us the insights you've given us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Steve. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.